Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis, and breaking scoreboards. Simone of the Olympics, defense and big business. The Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the three in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bell in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer.
DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, in the street sports, man. What's really good, y'all? You know what I'm saying? It's about time we get into a few things, man. It's going into the summer season. The weather is getting hot everywhere. All right, if you plan on taking a vacation, I mean, you might want to consider driving though, because they kicking your behind for the airfare. Oh, gee, is they dope. But the weather's nice. You know, the playoffs are in the air. All right, you have NBA playoffs who are now into their Eastern Western Conference Finals, and it's very interesting to see who might end up coming up out of there. You got NBA lottery just passed, and the Orlando Magic got the number one pick. We gotta get into that. Football off season, rookie mini camps just ended. OTAs are now beginning of next week, and you know, again, the Browns are for once the talk of the town, and I guess for 3 or 4 years straight, we've been talking the town lightweight, but this time it's a little different with the talk. It ain't, as controversial per se. It's interesting. We got former players who made nice comments about, what they thought about their time when they played here in Cleveland. And, it's a few things to cover, So let me get my share on right quick. You know what I'm saying? If you're tuning in from any of the other social platforms, it's a pleasure to have you today. Thank you for coming in here and chopping it up with me. You know what I'm saying? And, we got some things to get into. Probably the hottest topic of it all, though, what I'm probably going to start with is Pat Beverly and Chris Paul. I almost called him Chris Paul the third, y'all. That was about to be so funny. Like, who's Chris Paul the third? But yeah, this was an interesting week with him. Now, Pat Beverly isn't, he isn't like a household name per se. Shout out to any man who could do what he need to do to get his bread, because we all got to get that bread out here. You know what I'm saying? So it's always hats off to the cats out here doing whatever they got to do, to make their money, especially if it don't involve putting other people's lives in jeopardy and doing all that crazy nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's up. But, there's levels, right? So when you talk about or talk down on or speak upon certain situations, you supposed to have some type of cachet in that their topic for you to be able to really speak on that. All right. Now, like I say, Pat Beverly, he in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? I mean, ain't too much you could really say. He in the NBA. But bro, How dare you get on there and try to talk trash? Hold on. I'm sharing this right now. You gotta excuse me for my my lack of eye contact. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to share it right quick. You know what I'm saying? Get some people off in here so we can really talk about it. You know what I mean? Um, but Patrick, bro, Pat Bev, bro, can we be serious one time? Isn't Chris Paul the same guy that you cheat when you was getting eliminated from the playoffs last year? Is that not the guy you snuck in the back? Okay. Pat Beverly, aren't you the same guy who literally made his name off injuring Russell Westbrook in his prime? Aren't you that guy? Pat Bev, as a basketball player, what skill do you actually bring to a basketball team? Like that's actually tangible when it pertains to getting buckets or stopping buckets. All right. Oh, I got a $40 million contract from the Clippers. I ain't never got a $40 million contract from the Clippers, so I understand when you say that. But guess what, bro? You are in no position whatsoever to talk down on CP3 in the manner that you tried to talk about him. There is nothing wrong with you evaluating him as a basketball player and saying, at 37, he ain't this and ain't that. Okay. But the way you went about it, the way you tried to go on there was just like, oh, he overrated. He ain't never been nothing. He ain't gonna never be nothing. Y'all just glorify him for no reason. Like Pat Bev, Chris Paul was given a case to the New Orleans Hornets, who never got him a wing player. Ever. Ever. He had David West and Tyson Chandler. And he was going up against like raw squads, like Kobe and Shaq, like the big three plus Robert Horry and them with the Spurs. It was still like some contest, Bron and was like Chris Paul, he had Darren Williams and them in Utah. Like it was, I don't understand. He had to deal with Nash and them and Dallas and them. All right. And all they ever gave him was a nice power forward, a nice center, and no wing players. He was always the only wing player. All right. He's led whole teams, whole franchises to the playoffs, multiple franchises to the playoffs, franchises that were nothing. So let's add some context when we say, oh, he's been given the keys. Who was he giving the keys to? It's different if you're giving the keys to a brand new Bentley fresh off the lot that's from this year. It's a whole difference when you're giving the keys to an Impala, that needs some work. And then when you see it in 4 months, it's sitting on doves with new everything in there, glistening off the pavement. Come on, bruh. Let's add some context and respect to Chris Paul's name. Chris Paul could have got traded or should have got traded to the Lakers. They got to play with Kobe. They reneged on that. They didn't want him to do nothing. So he ended up going to the Clippers. What did the Clippers do? The Clippers did the exact same thing New Orleans did. They gave him a nice power forward, a nice center, and no wing players. And then the wing players he could grow with, you traded or you got rid of. And then you invested in who knows what. All right. Now, I'm not saying that Chris Paul does not deserve fault for never getting to the finals. And he's had multiple chances, especially in the latter years. But those are the latter years. You know what I'm saying? when Chris Paul was kicking it and with Chris Paul in his prime, I guess the Clippers was his prime. Because he came in the league when he was like 20, 21. So by the time he got to the Clippers, he had been in the league like 6, 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Boom, he did like 6, 7 years with the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? Then he went to OKC again, took him to the playoffs, and nobody believed him. Then he took Houston to the Western Conference Finals when James Harden couldn't get him past the second round or even to the second round. I don't think he could get him past the first, something like that. All right? Pat Bev, when have you ever in your career been this instrumental on any team, bro? Ever. You call him a cone. Then you proceeded to exclaim that he's overrated. Chris Paul is 37 years old. I think LeBron got y'all gas, bro. Tom Brady got y'all food. Y'all really think every player that's a superstar is supposed to be able to last and play until their 40s. That is an anomaly. All right? Now, if we did more, if we 100, I appreciate that. You feel me? Now, if we did more things like, if our pharmaceutical and government wasn't so stingy with the ingredients of life that'll help us really stay at our healthiest, then maybe, but that ain't really what's going on. Oh my God. Okay, there we go. Yo, I had to bring my chat up, fellas. I had to bring the chat up.
Yeah, you good. You were what's the name for a minute too, but you straight.
Yeah, Frank James, I see y'all. What's good? Welcome in. You feel me? But as I was saying, Pat Bev, you've never done that. You've never been in that position. And it's just, and y'all, like I said, y'all got y'all food. That's an anomaly. Nobody plays a sport for 20, 25 years at a high level. Your body breaks down. All right. The only reason these guys' bodies ain't broke all the way down is because these guys been taking care of their body from the jump, from go. So since they've been working on it from the beginning, their longevity then built up for them to be able to keep going, because not only was they doing those things then, but they're continuously doing them now. You know what I'm saying? If you jump in the middle and then think you're going to have the same, you not them. You feel me? But I feel like overall, because I've been rambling, I feel like overall, Pat Bev was out of pocket. And I feel like you not going to fight Chris Paul. Because everybody be talking crazy, but I ain't seen nobody try to, except for Rondo. I got to give Rondo his props. Except for Rondo. I ain't seen nobody really try to fight Chris Paul. Oh, damn, was it Brandon Ingram? Brian ain't fighting Chris Paul, bro. Like, Brian ain't fighting Chris Paul. It is. Yeah. Because, so, Chris Paul can't get over the hump. I don't think it's a can't get over the hump for him, though. I think it's almost a term of too little, too late. So in this situation where they just got eliminated by Dallas, I totally blame Monty Williams. And when I don't blame Monty Williams, I blame Chris Paul. And I'm going to tell you why. Because there was no way DeAndre Ayton was supposed to dominate this series. I didn't watch all the games. I didn't watch full games. I watched pieces. But they still played the same way they played last year. And last year, they wasn't feeding DeAndre Ayton. Now, DeAndre Ayton is a 7-foot big man who can not only defend at the rim and on the perimeter and one-on-one, but he has a post game and he could shoot. But you don't know that if you watching the Phoenix Suns. Because Monty Williams, for some reason, he's so enamored by Chris Paul that he just think, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you talking about us? I'm gonna get to that point too. But he's so enamored by Chris Paul, you feel me, that he just think it's supposed to go like that. DeAndre ain't probably gonna leave, but Chris Paul being like the guy he is, the type of point guard he is, they were supposed to utilize Aiden. You know what I'm saying? He was their advantage, and they did not at all. So what I don't blame Monty, I blame Chris Paul. Now going back to Frank, he like as far as the guys whose body lasted. Well, the guys whose body lasted, like I say, they took care of their stuff from the jump. You feel me? So that's why. Hey, too, y'all can hit that link and get in here too, though. If you want to join the live, it's a link in the chat. You could definitely hit that and come on for sure. You know what I'm saying? But the guys whose body lasts, like, you feel me? They take care of their stuff from the. Yeah, for sure. They got people who, those people been doing it from the beginning. Like I say, so they then built up their longevity, and that's why that's why they can play as long as they can play. You got some guys who might jump in midway through their career. It extend them a couple of years, but they ain't been doing it as long, so it ain't as effective. But it's still an anomaly because we can all try the same recipe. Don't mean we're gonna come out with the same dish. You feel what I'm saying? Even given the same ingredients and the same assignments, we're not really about to come out with the same thing. We're going to come out with all our own version of what we read and seen and how we computed. So, for the rest of those guys who don't take care of their bodies, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why they don't last in the league. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why Melo kind of burnt out. I don't think Melo was a slouch on the workout, but I don't think he kept his body up the way he could have. You know what I'm saying? I've always felt like since LeBron's way to keep your body been laid out, I felt like everybody should have adopted that. You know what I'm saying? Not even just in basketball. Like franchises should have adopted that. Football franchises, baseball franchise. Everybody should have adopted that. The way Tom Brady do his eat plan. Everybody should have adopted that. That should have just became the norm. You know what I'm saying? But that's another conversation anyway. Let's go to some more outside shit. So what about Kyrie Irving? All right. I can't blame you, man. I can't blame you. You know what I'm saying? Eddie had La too. You feel me? So it's hard not to want to chill when you got that and La. Like I can't really knock him for that. My man Kyrie Irving though, right? So he's on I Am Athlete. I think that's the name of it. With Brandon Marshall, and a couple other guys. Don't give me the line. Excuse me if I can't remember y'all names right off. But they were having an interesting talk with Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving said that he felt like he was, now that he looked back on it, you know what I'm saying? Now that he looked back on things with Cleveland, he felt like he could have won a lot more championships, and he was just a little immature about certain things that went on. Now, they say him and the King coming back. No. Now, all right. This opens up a lot of things. So hold on, Day and James. Hold on. Let me go one by one. First, let me start with in defense of Kyrie. All right. James like hell no. So in Kyrie's defense, I don't think, because what his statements insinuate is that he was the reason that the Cavs broke up. All right. And for those who are not Cleveland fans, you know, and remember, you on DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports. You know what I'm saying? If you're streaming on any social media platform, that's Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be, make sure you come in, comment, hit the link if you want to get on the video chat and speak your piece about your team. But to say that he was the cause of the breakup is an overstatement. LeBron was going to leave, but LeBron would have stayed. You know what I'm saying? LeBron would have stayed if the team would have tried to build something. Now, let's state the facts. The Cavs won the championship, right? Then they came back the next year and they lost the championship. All right. And they lost to a KD and them team. KD and the Warriors. All right. So that summer of 17 going into 18, Kyrie went to Cavs management and asked about superstar treatment. Just to sum it up. All right. Hey, bro, I'm a big part of the team. I'm instrumental to the team's success. I'm part of the big three. I'm number 2 of the big three, if nothing less. You know, what's up with some? Now, this is all reported and documented through Cleveland.com and various sources throughout Cleveland. You can go back and check the archives and pull this information up, bro. I'm not making this up out the clear blue sky. Kyrie went to management, you know what I'm saying, and asked about superstar treatment. In so many words, management said, Bron is who we building the team around. Fuck what you talking about. And if you don't like it, you could be traded. All right? That's totally unfair, bro. Now, mind you, let me add some perspective to this, okay? No, Frank said, I thought he said the team was trying to trade up Kyrie. No, so listen. I'm telling you how this went down, Frank. I'm telling you how this went down, bro. So, Kyrie went to management. Just to give them insight. He like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Let me at least get some of my own people to ride with me. Let me get some seats for my own entourage. You know what I'm saying? Hey, can we get some players in here that fit more of my play style? You know what I'm saying? Versus getting players that only fit around playing Bron. You feel me? Management basically told Kyrie nothing on that. We building around Bron. Now, mind you, when they having this meeting with Kyrie, LeBron is off on vacation somewhere. All right? LeBron off on vacation. This the same summer Harrison Bryant got married, if I'm mistaken. And Kyrie and Steph and Dre, they was all at the wedding. All right. So now James say the shot is the reason. The shot. So it's not just the shot. But let's keep this in mind. LeBron left. He did the decision. We made the trade with Baron Davis to the Clippers, and that's the pick that got us Kyrie Irving. All right, we drafted Kyrie, we drafted Waiters, we drafted Zeller, we drafted a whole bunch of whoever the fucks. Kyrie was a free agent. We told Kyrie, hey, we gonna come back. We gonna build the team around you. He signed a 4-year, $90 million deal. This was in the summer of 2014, going into 2014, 2015. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, LeBron said he coming back to Cleveland. They changed the whole landscape. So now Kyrie went from they building a team around him to they building a team around Bron and what Bron want to do. All right. Now remember, we had at that time LeBron, Kyrie, Waiters. We drafted Wiggins. We had, okay, I ain't gonna mad at y'all. We had Anthony Bennett, you feel me? But Bron, Wiggins, and Kyrie was raw. Bron forced management to trade for Kevin Love, who they could have waited for that offseason and still signed him free anyway. But they gave up Wiggins to get him. They got him. All right. Now, right. Kyrie not only showed out that year, But Kyrie wanted to be the point guard at first. Beginning of that season, him and Bron played. Kyrie was going to be the point guard. Ty Lue came in halfway through the season because remember, Bron refused to play like right after Christmas, like right after New. It was right around like them weeks, like right after the New Year, in between that and Martin Luther King birthday. All right, Bron refused to play, faced some type of injury. That's when they traded Waiters for J.R. Smith. They got Mozgov. They did those moves because LeBron wanted to play the point and Kyrie wanted to play the point. You know what I'm saying? This shit is documented, bro. Kyrie wanted to play the point, but Bron was playing the point, basically. So they asked Kyrie to just score. So that's what he did. He got injured that year. They came back the next year. They won the ship. Kyrie bought in. He was just being a scorer because that's what they asked, all right? Then they start bringing in other guys, right? Boom. So they won the ship that year. They got to that 2016, 2017 where they was defending the ship. They brought over Darren Williams, you feel me? And Mozgov left and Dellavedova left. You feel what I'm saying? Now, that's when they brought in Channing Frye. You feel me? Now, Kyrie, they did rush Kyrie on that injury. Now, this is where I have a problem with management because, bruh, you didn't have to trade for Kevin Love. I'm going to stand by that for as long as I live. You never had to trade, bro. Wiggins, what, bro? We didn't know how Wiggins was going to turn out. Now, I'm a go along with you on that, Frank. Frank say they wasn't sure how Wiggins was going to turn out. James said when I was talking previously, James was saying, you know what I'm saying, they rushed Kyrie back from that injury, which is a fact. You know what I'm saying? I got the yup and the K from Day 100. I want to make sure I shout y'all out while I see y'all on. Now, where I agree with Frank to a degree is that I wanted the Cavs to draft Embiid. I said, bro, you can just draft Embiid. We just went through foot shit with Ilgauskas. You can let Embiid sit for a year or two. You got Kyrie. Boom. You put Kyrie with Embiid. Then you'd have got Bron back. It'd have been ugly. But no, they don't know what Embiid gonna do. Embiid, he won't. Bruh, you don't think you see Embiid, you see his attitude, bruh. You don't think, right, James. They said he wasn't ready to win right now, right at that time. You feel what I'm saying? James saying that would have been fire, and it would have been though. You feel what I'm saying? Because, bro, Embiid could have sat a year or two with Bron in him. All right, they still would have got Kevin Love regardless, bro. Kevin Love was at the end of his contract. He was an unrestricted free agent. He could have went anywhere he wanted. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, but they rushed it. They did all that. All right. Now Kyrie, boom, got to change his game again. So then when you got to the year that they was defending the ship, you had certain players getting mad because Kyrie wasn't passing the ball. But them cats wasn't understanding that the previous 2 years before they came, you know, Richard Jefferson, Channing Frye, you feel me? The year before y'all came, Kyrie wasn't asked to do, well, not Richard Jefferson. I'm going to say Channing Frye because Richard Jefferson was there the championship year. So he understood. But, bruh, that's not what Kyrie was asked to do. He was asked to score. You feel me? Now, mind you, Kyrie in his sixth year by now, 7th year. You feel me? And all you've asked him to do was score. So now you mad because he scored? And I hate when people do that. You ask somebody to do something, you train them to be that, they get so used to it, it becomes second nature to them. Then you try to get mad because that's what they are. Like, bro, don't try to create situations. I hate that. That's so aggravating. It's an insult to my intelligence when you do that. But let me get back all the way to the point before we straight, all right? Kyrie, bro, it ain't your fault. All right. We had bad management. We had a horrible GM. I don't think David Griffin is a good GM. I think he might end up being the GM that everybody think he is, but when he was in Cleveland, he was not a good GM. He didn't even control the team. He didn't have a backbone. I think that's why now he want to work with young players who ain't really established superstars yet. Because when he worked with Brian, he couldn't get with him. Because if you remember, they had that. Then Griffin stepped down.
You losing bars right now. Can you hear me, bro?
Out of that tragedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, repeat what you was just saying.
There we go. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. You said repeat what I was just saying. What's the last thing you heard? What you talking about?
I don't know. He fucking breaking up.
All right. So Day was asking, do we want him back? I personally, so that's a tough question, bro. I don't want Brian back. And it's for me, I sound kind of like a hypocrite because, you know, I would be so with LeBron breaking the all-time scoring record in a Cavs jersey. You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, though, I'm cool, bro. Brian didn't already did what he didn't did. He didn't left his bone dry twice. I ain't with that. Kyrie is a different story. Bro, I ain't gonna even lie. I would take Kyrie back. Especially with this team. Bruh, bruh. Tell me right now. Kyrie on the floor with Marketing, Mobley, Allen, and Okoro. You don't think that's an unstoppable ass lineup? You got a wing who could, you know what I'm saying? Now, listen, Kyrie left under different circumstances. Kyrie left because management told him, hey, because they said, right, I don't like him when he left us. Oh, you talking about LeBron, right. You talking about I see you talking about LeBron, Day, right. I don't want LeBron either. You know what I'm saying? But Kyrie with this would likely be fire. I ain't gonna even lie. Because you know for a fact you getting buckets from the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't like him and Garland together because Garland that's too much a defensive liability. But I don't want to lose Garland to get Kyrie. But I don't want to lose Sexton either. You know what I'm saying? But how dare I ever ask Kyrie to come off the bench? You know what I'm saying? But in a perfect world, bro, in a perfect world, I would pay Kyrie $40 million to run my bench, bro. So, Day asking about Bradley Beal. So I'm no on Bradley Beal. Even though, and I was gonna say that too, even though I like Wright, and even though Wright, Frank, we already got a point guard. And even though I like Kyrie and I was saying all that, it's a no for Kyrie. It's a no. Matter of fact, if we're trading for anything, like if we're trading for a point guard that doesn't fit a certain skill set, and I'll get to that. If we're trading for a two guard, if we're trading for a power forward, or we're trading for a center that doesn't fit a certain skill set, excuse me, I'm not for the trade. I'm only for a trade that involves us bringing a starting official small forward, preferably an athletic 3 and D guy that can grow. That's what we need at the 3. James said Jared Stevens, they talk Browns too. Oh, hold on, bro. We talk Browns. We ain't got there yet. We just right here. We in basketball mode right quick, James. But we talk all Cleveland sports for sure. You feel me? Okay, Day. See, I'm just now. So me, I was on my phone the first time. You feel me? For the first, I got me a laptop now. I'm on the laptop so I can actually see the chat now. You feel me? So Day, I appreciate every time you've been on here, and I apologize for not being able to interact with you like this, bro. Cause I ain't had it set up properly, you feel me? But now I got it set up so we can, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? So but I think the Cavs as currently constructed is a playoff team. All right. What the Cavs are missing to complete what they have, to really put everybody in a role to play what they need to play. They need a tall point guard, 6'5" to 6'7" point guard that can defend, can create off the dribble. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be finish at the rim or create for others off the dribble, can facilitate, because we need a backup facilitator for Garland. All right. Now, Colin Sexton. Oh, wait. Let me not drift. The second thing we need off that bench is a defensive big man who can rebound, a guy who can rebound and protect the rim. All right, long as he could do those things, and he a nice big body, like 6'11", 7 feet. You feel me? We need that. You know what I'm saying? On top of the small forward that's athletic 3 and D. I feel like if we acquire these three positions, all right, we got a title team. All right. And before I even get into a lot of that, I'm going to get into what helps us get there. Right. You know what I'm saying? Salute, Day. All right. So Kevin Love is on a expiring $29 million deal. That's going to be attractive to some teams because Kevin Love actually balled out last year. So I think his trade value has increased enough. The Cavs also have a Cedi Osman, who, I've been for keeping Cedi for a long time. But right now, Cedi needs to fill a role. And keeping Cedi is keeping other guys from showing that they can fill that role. So in my mind, unless Cedi Osman can become the tall, facilitating point guard, defensive point guard off the bench, he gotta go. So that's two trade candidates. So then you got Colin Sexton, who's a restricted free agent. You got Dean Wade, who I think is just an outright free agent. Then you got Karis LeVert on his deal. Garland Sexton. Darius Garland last year, his deal. All right. You also we just had the draft lottery. So the Cavs got the number 14 pick in the draft. They also got the 39th pick in the draft. And they also got the 56th pick in the draft. All right. So they got 3 picks in this draft. They got 2 movable parts. All right. And they got a nice foundation for a team. Now, let me get into this, and this is for a lot of people. All right. Because people are so gung-ho on the Cavs trading for somebody. And if you're, in my opinion, if you're a person who's pushing the Cavs to make a trade right now, you ain't no real Cavs fan, bro. Or you don't really understand Cavs history. So let's get into that, right? Because the guy that people keep trying to get traded is Colin Sexton, which makes no goddamn sense to me. Excuse my French. You know what I'm saying? No offense. All right. The Cavs have never been known to develop their own draft picks or their own players. Their farm system has been abysmal. However, They always seem to draft quality players, and you end up knowing these players has got some type of skill, because when they leave Cleveland, then all of a sudden you start seeing them blossom and crazy. They winning championships. This always happens. Okay? And this is where I commend Kobe Altman. And this is where I say, even though David Griffin and LeBron left us crazy, messed up, Kobe Altman found a way to make a diamond out of coal. All right? He found a way. All right? The Cavs were known as a soft team. Does anybody want to take a guess at which player changed the narrative from the Cavs being a soft team? Do you know who? Why, it was one Colin Sexton. Yes. Colin Sexton, with virtually minimum to no talent around him, led the Cavs to at least 22 wins in 3 straight seasons. Now, people say, oh, he only had 22 wins. Bruh, Frank say I'd package Osman, Love, and Sexton in a good trade for a wing. No. Any package that involves Colin Sexton is off the table. All right? And I'm going to finish what I was saying. All right? So, Sexton didn't have nobody. Nobody. We won 22 games a year. Colin Sexton beat 1-on-1 coverage, 2-on-1 coverage, 3-on-1 coverage. Colin Sexton scores in the clutch. He is the only player on the team, even with a whole year of him being out, he is the only player on this roster who can get his own bucket off the bounce, or off the break, or off ball. He the only player who can get the buckets any which way. Now everybody keeps saying, "Oh, but he can't defend." That's a lie. Colin Sexton can defend. He just ain't built like your average, nice, good defender like a la Isaac Okoro is. However, though, the name of the game is getting buckets. So if you're not getting buckets, I don't care how much good defense you have if you can't score. Colin Sexton gave the Cavs an identity. We play tough, we play rugged, we play downhill. You know that. He done gave every superstar and every great defense in the league fits. Why would you give him away? Especially when now he isn't your only talent. Darius Garland. I like Darius Garland. I like Darius Garland and Colin Sexton together because I feel like their games complement each other very well. Darius Garland is a stretch point guard that can facilitate. He can penetrate, but he penetrates to facilitate. You know what I'm saying? And that's raw. But he play from the 3-point and then he go down. Colin Sexton plays at the rim. He plays in the mid-range, but he can't step out and hit the tray. He can't hit you with the floater. You know what I'm saying? He can't. His package is evolving. So these two point guards, or these two guards, point guards or whatever, these two guards complement each other's games very well. You got 2 7-footers, who games complement each other. All right? You got Jarrett Allen, who's a floor runner who can play above the rim, but he's known for his defense protecting the rim and being able to rebound at a high level. But he can also defend on the perimeter a little bit. Then you complement that with Evan Mobley, who's not – that's not what I'm saying, Frank. Hold on, I'm going to come back to you in a second. Frank said, what? LOL, so RPG can't get buckets? That's not what I'm saying, but hold on. Because it's different levels to getting buckets. You know what I'm saying? So Evan Mobley – is already polished on the defensive end. He can play on the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? He can play weak side. He can play straight up. It is what it is. His body just got to fill out. All right? But this is where we need that 33. So let me go to Frank right here. All right? Nobody said Darius Garland can't get buckets. But if Darius Garland is your number one option, that is a problem. Because what you rate a player longevity on, a basketball player's longevity on, is a skill set that's going to let them be around for a long time. So things that'll never leave Darius Garland are the fact that he could shoot and the fact that he could pass. But Darius Garland can't beat guys one-on-one. We watched this all year. And Darius Garland can't beat guys one-on-one. Not because he can't, but because Darius Garland doesn't penetrate to look to finish at the rim. He looks to get a jump shot off or pass it off. That's what his game is. He's not confident in getting the bump and finishing at the rim, but he can sneak past you, okay? That's not a complete scoring skill set for a point guard. On top of that, I want my point guard to facilitate the offense. So I don't need him to get 30 points a game. I just need him to be the threat to get 30 points in any given game. But the fact that you can give me 18 and 12, 15 and 15, 20 and 12, you know what I'm saying, on points and assists, that's good. You know why? Because I got a center that plays above the rim, that runs the floor, that's going to get me at least 15 rebounds and 15 points. So they're filling roles already. All right? Darius Garland and Jared Allen as a combo is a threat. And everybody in the league know this. All right? What they don't know that is Jared Allen got a little jumper. But even with that being said, for the long terms of their careers, they're not going to be number one scoring options on nobody's championship team. So if you think that Darius Garland and Jared Allen can be the number one options on a championship team, I don't think you know basketball the way you think you do. All right. However, Darius Garland and Jared Allen as a third option, that's crazy. That means you can go to your number one, you can go to your number two, and if it all fell down, then you can go to Jared Allen and Darius Garland off the pick and roll. That's raw as a bailout. All right. Now, when we talking about Evan Mobley needs to be the number one option. That's who needs to be the number one option. Evan Mobley is so impactful on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, he's almost non-existent to a degree. It's like JB Biggerstaff didn't know how to use him at all. Okay, so Evan Mobley needs to become the number one scoring option because at 7 foot he has a lot. He has a lot of potential on the offensive end. I mean, off the dribble, off the triple threat, in the mid range. No, bro, it's not. So this is something because Cleveland has never developed talent, or they're just now getting into the habit of developing talent. You don't understand that. You don't hold a star back. You only get 4 seasons with a restricted free agency on the 5th season in an NBA contract. All right. Evan Mobley has already went through a year 1 where he's shown that he got offensive potential. He's a defensive monster, and he's going to get. Hold on, y'all.
Shit, man. I'm sorry, I need to fuck up your shit, but she's fucking working.
Hold on, baby. Okay, hold on, bro. So, oh wait, did my speaker go out? I could have. It did. Turn that AC on. Hey. Yeah, for real, we in these streets. For real. Okay. But look, my motherfucking screen came down for real too, though. Hey, listen, man. One thing I ain't gonna do is I ain't gonna lie to you, right? So where was I at? Evan Mobley. All right. You spent the third overall pick on a guy that you feel like can be a franchise player. And what I was getting at before that was, you know, the Cavs, when they have got superstars, they came them already kind of ready tailored. You know what I'm saying? And now they're at the mercy of the star. So I believe in JB Bickerstaff as a coach. I do think he needs to upgrade his coaching staff and get more official guys on that staff. I don't see nothing wrong with the staff we got per se, but if the goal is to win a championship, then you need to have some type of championship influence on that staff. You know what I'm saying? To go with your young weapons for real. So with Evan Mobley, you know what I'm saying? Like they really need to unlock him. You know, they need to figure out how to get him positioned in the mid range and let him work from there. Let him be able to have the option to pass, take you off the dribble or what. Let him be the first option. So that way, you feel me? If they do clog him up, now he kicking it to a Sexton or he kicking it to a Garland. You feel me? And that's opening up. And this is where I go with the 3 and D guy. You feel me? Wait, hold on right quick, y'all.
Doug, you already know, man. In the street sports, man. In the street sports, man. We got to start calling you Mr. Front Row, Doug. Mr. Front Row. For real. You need to start documenting all that shit, Doug. All them trips you be taking going to them stadiums. Start vlogging. You have all the good footage.
All right. My bad, man. Appreciate the patience at this time, you feel me? That tends to happen when you in the streets, though, you know what I'm saying? Things go on, you gotta attend to them right there immediately. All right, so where was we at? Evan Mobley, number one scoring option. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So this is why I feel like Mobley should be the number one scoring option. I don't know if y'all still here, man. You know, send me like a laughing emoji or something, fuck you or something. You feel me? Just let me know. You know what I'm saying? I had to send to the little one right quick. You feel me? That was really unexpected. But Mobley as the number one scoring option, though, that should be the idea. Colin Sexton would be, Colin Sexton the number one scoring option right now, but having him as the number one it doesn't put you in the best position. You know what I'm saying? I like Colin more as a number two option. You know what I'm saying? Or even as a 2A or 2B option. You know what I'm saying? But having him is a necessity. But could you imagine, though, Colin and Mobley killing in the mid-range? You feel me? And you got, Garland who could bring it out. And this is where I get to that small forward, bro. You need that small forward, man. You know what I'm saying? Athletic 3 and D. Now, I guess the real question is, what guys available could we get to fit that role? All right? I'm going to say this. I'm going to keep saying this, because I just feel like it makes the most sense, right? Or I think like it's the most feasible. Kevin Love is on a 1-year expiring deal. So is Andrew Wiggins. And I would definitely offer Kevin Love for Andrew Wiggins, because he's a 3 and D guy that can come in here and fill the role. He ain't got to be the first option, the second option. He could be the third option or the fourth option. It ain't going to matter to Wiggins. He going to play defense. He going to run the floor. He can take over games at times. You know what I'm saying? Now, is that going to be a crazy storyline for them to get traded for each other and have their careers linked up like that? Yeah, but, I kind of like, I guess Wiggins' trade value depends on if the Warriors win a championship this year. You know what I'm saying? Because the Warriors win it all this year. Yeah, I think his trade value is gonna go up anyway. I think somebody gonna take a chance on him when he does become a free agent, because him like Love got 1 year left on their deals. But I like the idea of Andrew Wiggins coming back. You feel me? I'm totally with that shit. If not, I don't really know another small forward. So a trade floated around about Tobias Harris getting traded to the Cavs. Once again, any trade that involves us getting Love and acquiring a potential small forward, I'm with. I'm just not with any trade that involves Colin Sexton. Why wouldn't they? Listen, I'm gonna tell you why I think the Warriors will go for that, Frank. Because Frank's saying the Warriors aren't going for that.
Hey, Big Gator Worm, you chill out with that. Chill out with that. Hey, Gator. Hey, we ain't gonna come in here with that water hate. They going all the way. Oh no, that's who Frank is. That's what we call Frank. Gator. Yeah, stop calling that. Yeah, stop calling that nigga Frank.
Gator. Okay,
Gator. Big Gator right there, man.
Okay. So Gator, I'm telling you, like the Warriors, I'm gonna tell you why the Warriors will go for that. Because if the Warriors don't make no moves, right, they come back with this whole team. Do you think they can legitimately keep sitting Jonathan Kuminga and he not worn out? Do you not think James Wiseman is going to be a major contributing factor next year for that team? Moses Moody ain't even really got to show what he can do yet. Jordan Poole is emerging. Bruh, the only odd man out is Andrew Wiggins. Because that team already has Clay, Poole, and Steph as the scorers. Kuminga could play exactly the same role that Wiggins could play. They don't need to pay a player $30 million to do that. So if we was going to get something, it's going to be Love for Wiggins because Love gives them an element that they want. They want a big man who could stretch the floor because they haven't had that. So Love will come off the bench for his $29 million, which is $4 million less than what the Cavs going. You feel me? They get a young player in return on the expiring deal. So if Andrew Wiggins don't work out, you're not stuck with him. His money come right off the books. That's $33 million back to the cap. You know what I'm saying? It's a win-win for both teams. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they ain't.
Hey, my bad, Gator.
I'm talking about Love for Wiggins too.
Yeah, my bad, Gator. I'm over here playing this video game and I heard, listen, I read it wrong. I apologize. I thought you was talking about that one going to the ship. My bad. I heard ship and then I seen ain't going and I just jumped the gun. My bad. Let me get back to doing what I'm doing. He talking about the love trade. Yeah, I know what's going on now.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Man, but I think it's possible. I ain't saying I'm in the front office and I'm going to tell you what Myers and them thinking and what they going to do. I'm just saying it's possible. I'm going to tell you something else that's possible. Oh, wait. Let me not get off the Cavs. Let me stick with the Cavs first. All right. So, you know, in my perfect world, contracts. Because that's really the hot topic. So let me ask y'all. How much is Colin Sexton and Darius Garland worth? You know what I'm saying? I need a one answer for each one. What contract extension is Darius Garland worth? And what contract extension is Colin Sexton worth? What y'all thinking? You feel me? Let me see. You know what I'm talking about? So, me, Love is old, Wiggins still young. That trade will be worthless for the Warriors. Man, it's not worthless for the Warriors. The Warriors gonna get a rebounded big man who can come off the bench and give them 20 and 10. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's a perfect offset to Draymond. You know what I'm saying? So now if they keep Looney, now you come off the bench. Man, bruh. So Gator say Love is an old Wiggins, still young. That trade will be worthless for the Warriors. Good fantasy though. Then he follows up and says, I packaged the people I said for old buddy from Detroit. Who is old buddy? Jeremy Grant? Bro, Colin Sexton is better than these players that you trying to get me to package him up for. So I'm not about to trade Colin Sexton if you're not giving me a top 15 player. This is not even negotiable. If you player that you bringing me ain't a championship level player, Colin Sexton is not a part of this trade. So don't even put him in the trade packages when I'm on, because I'm just going to automatically shoot it down, bro. There's nothing you can tell me about trading Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton, nobody can guard him. Nobody. The only way you can guard Colin Sexton is if he ain't got nobody to pass it to, because you're not going to stop him from scoring. You know what I'm saying? That's the one knock you can say. If we get him cornered, you know what I'm saying, he ain't tall enough to see over, and he might not recognize it quick enough to get rid of the ball in time. That's it. But even still, he probably going to beat you. So why would I give up my best scorer that's only 22 years old? That makes no sense, especially when he was scoring like that when he even had no talent around him. Now I got bundles of talent around him, and I'm going to trade him? That makes no sense. He's 22. In 5 years, he'll be 27. You know how much even raw of a scorer he's going to be by the end? So, no, bro. No. Now, you talking about Jeremy Grant. Gator was talking about Jeremy Grant from Detroit. Listen, I'm not opposed to Jeremy Grant coming to Cleveland. I'm opposed to trading any one of our young players to bring Jeremy Grant to Cleveland. All right. Now, if you're talking about, you got to throw, yes, Colin Sexton is better than Jeremy Grant. Do you not remember who Jeremy Grant is? We talking about the same Jeremy Grant that was drafted by Philly and couldn't even make the starting lineup. The same Jeremy Grant who went to Denver, and then he started to get his game. No, first he went to OKC, right? He couldn't cut it in OKC. I'm not biased. He couldn't cut it in OKC. Then he went to Denver. He was in Denver for 4 years. The last 2 years, he actually got his game up, or he was in Denver for 3 years. But his first year, he was in and they were going to the playoff. Then his last 2 years, he started to get his game up. He had an offensive game. He'd only been an offensive threat for like 3 years. He'd been in the league like 8. Colin Sexton been an offensive threat since the day he stepped on the floor. Jeremy Grant, 28. 27, 28. Colin Sexton, 22. So, yes. Colin Sexton better than Grant, in my opinion. Now, the one thing you're going to say is, oh, but Grant 6'7", 6'8". Okay, he should be nice. But he can't even guard Colin. Bring up any highs, I bet you Sexton. I bet you Sexton was pissing on him. He can't even guard Sexton. You feel me? So, no, I'm not going to give up and give him a division rival. Is you crazy? That's dumb. But I think people need to start accepting the fact that Colin Lightweight the face of the franchise right now. You know what I'm saying? Only thing that keep Colin from not really being up in there like that is because he don't talk a lot to the media and he keep the wild bush on his head. You know what I'm saying? With the dread in the back. You feel me? White, welcomed white. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? Outside of that, Colin the face of the franchise, bro. And he the best scorer. Colin Sexton is one of the top 20 scorers in this league. Top 15 scorers in this league, bro. I would never trade him at 22. There's nothing you can give me for him. Nothing. All right? Unless, is we talking like Jason Tatum? If you give me Jason Tatum for Colin Sexton, then I'll probably go take that. You give me Luka? If you're not giving me one of these type players, Colin Sexton it's not negotiable. I'm hanging up the phone. You feel me? I think y'all need to understand, man, like Colin is really that dude. Young Bull. I call him Young Bull. I call Garland Young Maestro. You feel me? I like that. You feel me? I don't know what I'm gonna call Mobley yet, but it is gonna get ugly in Cleveland. But anyway, like I said, for those who just now coming in, I've been saying the Cavs need to stay put as is. They need to re-sign Colin Sexton. I say it like this: Colin should get anywhere from on a 5-year deal, anywhere from $1 million. Not from $1 million, from $100 million to $125 million. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere in between there is a good deal. And when it comes to Garland, I'm giving him the same thing. All right. Anywhere between 100 and 125 million over 5 years, I'm locking you all in. You know what I'm saying? Because if I had 3 max contracts, I'd be paying 3 max contract players almost $600 million between 3 players. I'm pretty sure I can divide that up between 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? So this is where I stand with the Cavs. And then I'm looking at it like this. You move Love, you move Chetty. Now you got Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, and Lauri Markkanen off the bench. Bruh. I don't know what type of basketball y'all looking at. Gator, what you saying what to? You feel me? What you saying what to, Gator? Let me know I'm on so I'm on the same page with you. But that LeVert, Okoro, and Markkanen, bro, that's a dangerous bench right there. On the 8-man rotation, that's nice. And we talking about young guys. We ain't talking about old guys who we talking about putting a core together. When it comes to a core that can compete for this year and years to come. Man, you got Garland, Sexton, Mobley, Allen, LeVert, Okoro, and Markkanen. That's fire. What is we even talking about? That's fire. So if they add, now we got to get to them in this 14th pick. All right, because the draft lottery dropped. All right, and let's just go through the draft lottery right quick because I already got that already on standby. Right. So the draft lottery is Orlando got the number 1 pick. OKC got the number 2 pick. Houston at 3, Sacramento at 4, Detroit at 5, Indiana at 6, Portland at 7, New Orleans at 8, San Antonio at 9, Washington at 10, New York Knicks at 11, Oklahoma City at 12, Charlotte at 13, Cleveland at 14. All right. Now, the fact that the Orlando Magic got the number 1 pick, man, is so crazy because Orlando got a little roster, and they got a roster full of potential talent, like major contributing talent. You know what I'm saying? As far as they guard play, okay, there we go. You feel me? So as far as Orlando and they guard play, they got RJ Hampton, Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz. Frank said only people you would trade Sexton for are Tatum and Luka. Yes, bro. Listen, bro. Name me a player that you trying to get me to trade for that's a better offensive threat than Colin. All right? I just want you to tell me that while I keep talking about these teams, just tell me. Colin Sexton get buckets. Name me one player that you done named so far that wasn't them that get more buckets better than Sexton. Just name me one. So, like I say, Orlando got a bunch of guards. All right. Like I said, they got RJ Hampton, Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony. They got Gary Harris over there and Jalen Suggs. Then they have a bunch of like tweeners. Guys who are probably 3 skill set, but built like 4s, but not really 4s. And then they got some 5s. So they got Bobo. They got Mo Bamba, unless he leaving free agency. They got Wendell Carter Jr. They got Jonathan Isaac. They got Moritz Wagner. And they got Franz Wagner. All right. The question with Orlando is who they building around. Are they building a team around this specific pick? Or is they picking a pick that's going to pair them up with them? Now listen, I like going into theories and putting stuff out there because I be trying to see what's going to go on, all right? I be trying to help make the league better. So I said Orlando should consider, and tell me how y'all feel about this. I feel like Orlando should consider trading offering Jonathan Isaac, Markel Fultz, and Terrence Ross to Utah for Rudy Gobert. I think they should do that. And then with the number one overall pick, Gator, I'm about to get right to you. With the number one overall pick, I think if they do that, then I think they would take Chet Holmgren. Because if you put Chet Holmgren with Rudy Gobert in the paint, and then you got Suggs, Anthony, and Wagner on your wings, you know what I'm saying? And you still got RJ and RJ back there. You still got Gary Harris if you choose to bring him back. So DeJounte Murray is really good, Gator. But we already have a Darius Garland. So DeJounte Murray defeats the purpose. Like, you'll be just getting two of the same player. I don't think DeJounte. Now, if you was asking me, should we trade Garland for DeJounte Murray? I ain't one to suggest nothing like that. But if they did it, I wouldn't be mad because I feel like, in a sense, we're getting a more defensive version of what Murray brings. At the same token, though, I like Garland. So do I think DeJounte Murray better than Sexton on the defensive end? But on the offensive end, I don't know, bro. Because I remember Colin Sexton giving DeJounte Murray buckets too. A lot of buckets. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to remember, man, Colin Sexton was in that Luka, Trey, DeAndre Ayton. Like, you got to remember who Colin is, bro. He almost won an NCAA tournament game going 3-on-5. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to need y'all to stop disrespecting Colin, bro. You know what I'm saying? But so Orlando, they could do something like that. But if Orlando chooses not to make any trades, and they keep the roster as is, and they just draft him because draft comes before free agency. I'm one that think that NBA free agency should come before the draft. I just feel like they should. The free agency to come before the draft, so teams know what they should really be picking, and they can go. You get the lottery, then you get free agency, so now they can make their move. So whoever they gonna pick, they bring in these guys, these newcomers into good situations. You know what I'm saying? But that's another topic for another day. But I think if Orlando doesn't make no moves, which they won't, like I said before free agency, I think Paulo Planchero, I think he the pick. But bro, I wouldn't be surprised if they took Shaedon Sharpe. And I know people probably gonna blast me for that shit, but bro, Shaedon Sharpe looked like one of them ones, bro. He looked like one of them ones, man. Remember when Kevin Durant came out and we were seeing it, but we ain't think, man, he might be one of them ones. So I think Shaedon Sharpe has a good chance of going first, but I think they're gonna take Paulo Planchero because Planchero gonna play the 4, and the 4 is his position. I don't think Orlando has a legitimate 4 on their team. So you put him at the 4, and then you still got Wendell Carter, you got Jonathan Isaac, you got Wagner. Like, you could do a few things with that. But that's why too I think Shaedon Sharpe could be a guy, especially if he shows out. Because Shaedon Sharpe could really just play the 2 or the 3, which allows them to play Isaac and Wagner together with Wendell, and you can put Suggs at the point. Or, you can bring Isaac off the bench, and and Shaden can play that 3. Suggs can play that 2. You know what I'm saying? You still got Markel folks playing that point. So, Orlando has a lot of things that they can do, but I just feel like, they're going to make a lot of moves, which in turn got me to believe that it's going to be. We thought the NFL offseason was crazy. This NBA offseason about to be a monster. I think it's possible it will top NFL offseason with all the moves and stuff that's probably going to happen. So OKC got the number 2 pick. I think Chet Holmgren could go here, but actually I think they might take Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith comes over here and he fits right into what they're doing. With Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, what's my guy name? Josh Giddey. They got Baisley, they got Lou Dort, they got Trey Mann. They really don't have a legitimate big man that's a threat. So you get Jabari in here and let him play the center or let him play the power forward and bring in the center if they bring back Favors or, make a move like that for a nice vet. But they also still got another pick at 12. So, they could look to get Jabari and then add another big man there at 12 because it'll probably still be a few. Now, they may have to reach or something like that to make a trade or something. But I got Jabari Smith going there. So, Planchero going 1, Smith going 2. I got Chet Holmgren actually going 3 to the Rockets. And I think that's a good place for him with Christian Wood, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., Kenyon Martin Jr. I think that's a good spot for him. Sacramento, I actually got them taking Shaden Sharp at 4. I just think they don't need a guard. They don't necessarily need a big man, but they do need a wing. Sacramento already has De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis down there, so I just think they definitely probably gonna take a wing, and they can take a gamble right now. Well, I mean, what Sacramento got to lose, Number 5 is Detroit. I actually got them taking Jaden Ivey, and it's like even Detroit probably didn't get the pick they wanted. I feel like they're gonna get the player they need. Jaden Ivey fits in perfect with Cade Cunningham and Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant if he chooses to stay, and then they still got Marvin Bagley, So I think Jaden Ivey goes there. Now the Pacers are interesting at number 6 because I don't know if Rick Carlisle feel like he got enough pieces to try to move and wheel and deal, or is he gonna just try to see what he can get for what, and then just go after what he's looking for from there. If the Pacers do pick at number 6, because part of me feel like the Charlotte Hornets might trade up at number 6. And Charlotte has a 13th pick and a 15th pick. The 15th pick is outside the lottery, so I didn't mention that pick. But I think Charlotte could trade the 13th and the 15th for the 6th, or Charlotte could offer the 13th or the 15th for Miles Turner. That's a little tidbit I got. I think Charlotte is in a position to get a center. I think that's all they need for their team is a true center, especially one of these. I think he could go to the Pacers if the Pacers decide to move on from Miles Turner and start anew. And I also think, somebody could trade up and take Jalen Duran because I think at that point he arguably is the best player left on the board with one of the highest ceilings. But you also got some other guys here too. So if Indiana take this pick, I think they take Jalen Duran. If they don't, if they trade it, I think Jalen Duran still goes right there at 6. Now, what's interesting is Portland is at 7. And this is where I really got stuck on my mock draft and got to my predictions because my mind got to going crazy. Now, the Portland Trailblazers at 7 are in full rebuild, build around Damian Lillard as fast as possible mode. They have Anthony Simons over there. They got Eric Bledsoe, Nasir Little. They still got Nurkic. Now, even though I think Nurkic on the end of his deal or last year his deal, or maybe a free agent, I'm not sure. But I think the first thing I think is I will watch out for Portland in the DeAndre Ayton sweepstakes. I think the Phoenix Suns are going to put him up on the offer sheet and let him see his market value. And I think the Portland Trailblazers are going to be a team knocking on the door to pair DeAndre Ayton with Dame Lillard. I'm not saying I got an insider. I know this for a fact. I'm just looking at the landscape and just taking my own best educated guess. And I would say they will probably be in a play for him. I don't think they would try to do a sign and trade. I think they would just try to get DeAndre Ayton at, he was trying to get the max. So they might get him at like 4 years, $100 million, 4 years, $120 million or something like that. And just let him rock out with Dame for a few years and let it roll like that. Knowing that after a couple of years, he'll be eligible for bird rights and they can do the extension from there. Gator Portland need to give it up. No, I mean, well, what you think they should do? Because I think, you got Anthony Simons, you got Dame Lillard. I mean, as long as you got Dame Lillard, you got a chance. But I think they need, I've always been a proponent of if you got a dominant point guard, you need a dominant big man to pair with him. If you got a 2, you need a 4. If you got a point guard, you need a center. I feel like those pair up. I think the 3 is about the one guy who could be a freelance because your small forward is asked to do it all. So, I like the idea of DeAndre Ayton with Dame Lillard. And plus, I want to see Chauncey Billups get a real chance to build a team and not have to deal with all the extra back BS. So, but we gonna see what Portland gonna do. And it was hard for me to really pick who they're gonna pick right here. But I think if they're gonna get anybody, it will probably be one of the best scorers on the board. So I'm gonna say Keegan Murray is a guy that they probably will take right here at number 7. New Orleans had me stumped at number 8 too. Because if I'm looking at the New Orleans team, you can either say they need a point guard or they need a 2 guard. So here they already got Kira Lewis Jr., but I think he might be a little too undersized or not be ready. Maybe CJ McCullough plays the point for real and they let him go like that. But that 2 position, man, do they let Herb Jones play or they just bring Portland should completely rebuild? I want to be opposed to that with Portland. The question is, though, who's going to give up that compensation for Damian Lillard and still be able to contend? Because you're going to have to give up a pretty penny for Dame Lillard. But like I say, the Pelicans, I think the Pelicans going to take the best perimeter scorer on the board. So that could be Johnny Davis. That could be the cat from Kansas. I can't always say his name right. Ochabai or something like that. It could be Marmouth from Arizona. So, at this part of the draft, I don't know. Because I feel like all of these teams from Indiana all the way up to the Cavs, all these picks could be traded. I feel like every last one of these picks could be traded. You know what I'm saying? Or moved around because there's so many different teams trying to make so many different moves. Then we get to the Cavs at 14. Now, once again, the Cavs need a tall backup point. They need a starting number 3. They need a backup big man. They got 3 picks in this draft. They can legitimately go after each one, with each pick in this draft and just do it like that. The guy that most intrigues me that I think won't get there because I think New York and Washington arguably can't allow this guy to pass them. The New Orleans doesn't need a point guard. Portland doesn't need a point guard. Indiana doesn't need a point guard. Charlotte doesn't need a point guard. OKC don't need a point guard. The Spurs don't need a point guard. So it's only Washington and New York who are in need of point guards. A guy that we draft at 14 just needs to become a rotation player right now. If he grows and be something else, that's great. That helps the team. But we need an immediate skill set. I like Dyson Daniels from the G League Ignite. 6'6", 6'7", point guard who can play 1, 2, or 3. I think him playing a backup point guard behind Darius Garland is an ideal fit. But let's just say he's off the board. Okay? If he's off the board, now this is where it kind of gets interesting for me if he's off the board. Because in my mind, certain guys, I was looking at Malachi Branham. I liked him from Old State. I like Ty Washington, but I think Ty Washington and Dyson Daniels could go back to back at 10 and 11. But if we don't do that, then we're gonna have to get a nice 3. So, in a perfect world, I would love for Shaedon Sharpe to be still here at 14. If Shaedon Sharpe was still here at 14, that would be the steal of the draft for the Cavs. All right. I would love for 13 teams to underrate that young man's talent and he fall to the Cavs. But I also heard that Sacramento was looking to trade their pick, and I will be all the way on board with trading for their pick to take Shaedon Sharpe at 4. Because I think Shaedon Sharpe is ideally the guy you want to play that 3 right there with us. You know what I'm saying? Him and the Coral trade off at that 3. Levert and Sexton trade off at that 2. Mobley and Marketing trade off at that 4. Listen, that's ugly right there. But it's that you got a few guys that can get up here and ball. Tari Eason is a guy that really interests me. I think he can end up being a real stud. Where that Beaucamp? Is that his name? Marjon Beaucamp or Beecham? Marjon Beauchamp or Beecham, however you say his name. I think he an interesting prospect too to play the 3. So I don't know exactly what Kobe Altman has planned or what JB Biggerstaff and them what they into. But what I do know is that they're in a good position to be able to really take this team to the next level. I think it does boil down to who are they building the team around? You know what I'm saying? If you're asking me, Garland and Jared Allen are not guys you build teams around. They are complements to the guys that you build the team around. In my opinion, Colin Sexton isn't necessarily a guy you build a team around, but he can be the second option on a team that's being built. Evan Mobley could be the number 1 option, and he should be the number 1 option. But if you want to say, okay, if you want to say Garland to Allen or that combination of how they roll is the third option, and Sexton and Mobley is the number 2 option, then your small forward has to be the number 1 option, and your small forward cannot be Lauri Markkanen. It can't be Lauri Markkanen, man. Not Lauri Markkanen. You know what I'm saying? So, that's. We've been up here for like 90 minutes, man. I think, I guess I've been up here for like an hour and 15 minutes because I had left the screen for a second. But no, I appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. DeeTrynt, Game Changer Sports Talk, Industry Sports. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Feel free to jump on anytime you see me streaming, man. Feel free to jump in and, hit the links that you see provided. You always come in and talk your stuff and, let us know how you feel about the sports world or just the topics that we talking about, man. But you can catch us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Radio Public, Anchor, Spotify, the works, all right? It's always been a pleasure. Please stay safe. Enjoy your weekends. It's a lot of events coming up, so stay in tune to the streets, man. I am DeeTrynt. This Game Changer Sports Talk. We're going to holler at y'all in a second. Alone.